That's like my off-the-court job, is figuring out how to use this platform and to do it right and to create impact, positive impact.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing, here with Entrepreneur the Playbook. And I am with the Warren Moon of the Brooklyn Nets, of the NBA, the first American Chinese, Taiwanese player. But he doesn't know this, Jeremy, this is going to be a difficult interview because I have a chip on my shoulder because every single Ivy League school rejected me.
Oh.
Although you have some similarities because you wanted to go to Stanford like me. That's my first choice.
Oh, okay.
Is that true? You wanted to go to Stanford?
Yeah, I got rejected, or no, I don't even remember if I got rejected by, yeah, I got rejected by Stanford. And then, ironically enough, made it to some Ivy Leagues. So
right, a really good one where my brother went as well. All my siblings went to the Ivy Leagues. I have 5 of them.
Oh wow!
Except for me.
Oh,
so I have a huge chip on my shoulder. But I'll let that pass. But if you're a kid out there that wanted to get into Stanford and got rejected, look here, 2 really successful guys. Stanford, you got bad taste. That's what I say. Anyway, so you have had a great long journey into your NBA career, and it took a lot of faith. A lot of people would have quit along the way. What do you think the one thing was that just kept you going? I mean, even when you were at Harvard, it wasn't like you were heavily recruited and supposed to be some Ivy League superstar, and you set all kinds of records.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's multiple factors. I could boil it down to one. A lot of it really is, in my opinion, it's just faith in God's divine plan. I remember when I made it to the NBA, and then even just until that point, but even if you want to take it further to insanity, I remember I actually physically wrote down a list one day, and I was like, if any of these one things didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today. And it was a long list of maybe about 13 to 15 things and I made sure that everything on that list was out of my control. So-and-so gets hurt, which gives me this opportunity, or this ends up happening, and the timing of someone's injury created an opening on that roster, which is why I got a bunch of these things that I realized are out of my control. So that's the first thing I need to do, is just not take credit for a lot of outside things. And I think as we all go through life, everyone kind of acknowledges that there's some level of we can control everything we can control, but we can't. There's just so many things that are outside. And then probably the second thing is really just my family. My friends, they allowed me, like you said, a lot of people would have quit. I was one of those people that would have quit. But the people around me made sure that I didn't. They knew how much I loved the game, and they stuck by my side. And when I was really going through it, my family would come visit me in the D League, or my agent would talk to me for an hour and a half before every game to make sure I was mentally okay. It was just, they just made sure that I always had the opportunity. My mom gave up money out of her 401k to give me a chance to pursue my basketball career because money was tight. So big sacrifices all across the board.
And what do you think, I get this all the time because I believe I live in God's favor. My whole life has not been perfect. I've been a multimillionaire, lost everything, worked for Lee Steinberg as the CEO, just up and down, but I just always had this perspective, even when I lost everything, that I lived in God's favor, that this was for a reason. Did you take that? I know you had a lot of family help, but did you take that perspective as well?
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking that right now with my injury. I feel like people think about my career and they immediately remember Linsanity, and a lot of people on the outside have created maybe that, they have romanticized that time period or that stretch. And people don't realize that my story or my NBA career, in my opinion, is 90%, 95% downs and a very few ups, but the ups were really, really up. And so people who don't live in my shoes every day, or don't see the struggle that I've been through, or what I feel like I'm constantly capable of, but haven't, been able to do with sometimes external factors. And there is a lot of continually, delving into God's promises, that there is a perfect plan, that I needed to just continue to be faithful and worry about what I can control. So that's an everyday motto for me, what you said, and I agree. Like I do feel like I'm in God's favor. I do feel like my older brother kind of said it best. He said, when I look at your story, there's God's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he has good ones, and you know, it is a great story. And, you know, a lot of people don't see things as ups and downs either, right? We see them as challenges, and I believe the universe doesn't give us anything we can't handle, and it allows us to expand. There's an old story about a butterfly, and the guy under the tree opens the cocoon, and then the butterfly dies because it takes the strength of the wings to get out.
Yeah.
When I look at your career, and there is a lot of challenges from the time you went to Harvard, and I just think to myself, man, you know, Jeremy Lin's a butterfly. His arms are just getting stronger and he's going to fly so high. And to me, you know, as I get more involved with WeChat and the Chinese students and a platform and a brand, you know, as an agent, as an ex-sports agent, but as a marketing agent, you know, I see there's a huge, if there's going to be someone to help bridge China and the United States, and sports being that vehicle, in my opinion, you're the perfect person to do that because you live with moral values, you live with hard work and persistency and consistency. Do you at all take that perspective today, or are you just mainly just focusing on the present and working toward it? Do you know the power of your brand already in China?
Yeah, I mean, we are very cognizant of it, and I have, you know, a team around me of people, and I mean, I basically, that's like my off the court job, is figuring out how to use this platform and to do it right and to create impact, positive impact. There's a lot of people, like you said. I don't know if there could be anybody ever who has really experienced or be able to say like they're in this unique situation that I'm in. There's many things that I'm able to do, or, you know, like you said, like being able to bridge gaps and stuff like that. Like there's a unique situation here and a unique opportunity. So we talk a lot about how to make it right, how to do, you know, what vision, what brand, what path do we want to take. And it's been enlightening. Like I've learned so much because I didn't go to school to be a CEO, or didn't go to school to like run my own company or learn how to be a manager or an executive. Like this is kind of just baptism by fire, figuring it out while I'm trying to figure out my pro career. And so it's been a lot of fun, but we spend a lot of time thinking about China and how we can help.
That's awesome. I did and have spent my career as a CEO and manager, et cetera. And one of the things that I've learned is surrounding myself with the right people and the right ideas. And one of my favorite parts of being a sports agent when I worked with Lee was sitting down for that hour and a half with my D-League player, or, you know, my practice squad player. I remember Myron Rolle, he reminds me of you. He won the Rhodes Scholar, and he was on the practice squad with the Titans, and having long conversations about the love of the game and just being inspired. In fact, one of the things I'd like you to comment on is Marcellus Wiley, who went to Columbia. He went to Columbia because he knew that he was good enough to make the NFL, but he also wanted to make sure everybody knew he was an intellect, that he was an academic, that he was intelligent. So he figured if I go to an Ivy League, the rest of my life, everyone will immediately, instead of think I'm a dumb football player, think that I'm smart. But he said something really cool, and I think it applies to you. He said, you know, I don't look at I'm paid to play football, I'm paid to do all the other stuff because I love football. I played football for free. Do you feel that way about basketball?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I won't tell the Nets. He still wants to get paid.
No, people around me know like training and basketball is like I would spend my life doing it if I could, if my body would hold up, but it won't. And so, you know, I have developed other passions, but like my first, you know, true love, quote unquote, has always been basketball. And I agree very much with that quote. It's like as I get older, there's more and more responsibilities I have to take care of off the court, and I also understand that like basketball is kind of a gateway to so many other different opportunities, and like to not take advantage of those would be, you know, kind of foolish, but at the same time, it's a balance too, like making sure that never impacts my training or whatever. And I feel like, you know, me and my trainer make that a point.
Yeah. Now, most people don't realize that the NBA, like, you know, I've dealt with athletes my whole life, my career, and how physically brutal like these, in my opinion, me and Warren Moon, my business partner, get in this argument: who's the best athlete, right? An NFL player or an NBA player? And I think by far, so many NBA players, if they wanted to, could be great NFL stars. But I don't think the other is true. And I do think the physical, like a LeBron or something, like that is a specimen that we haven't seen next to Bo Jackson or others. But like your body, we talked about it. What does it feel like to know, like, you're like I was in playing Division III football. I mean, you're getting bounced around. It's brutal out there, and these guys are just specimens. How does it feel to know like your body just can't keep up for the rest of your life, and that has kind of a first death for you will be when you stop playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely makes me appreciate it more. It puts me on the fast track for life because, by the time you hit 32, like your career from a numbers standpoint, like on average, like when you hit 32, 33, like there isn't too much after that.
Right.
And versus like an entrepreneur can do it for a much longer time. Like when you're 32, 33, you should be like
on your way up.
Yeah,
exactly.
like
Orville Redenbacher was 70 when he started the popcorn company.
Yeah,
so
that's
you got plenty of time to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I know that's true. So I just appreciate it more, and the window's smaller. The timing is, maybe the average NBA career is 4.5 years. So I'm going into my 9th next year, and that's just, I got to be thankful, and I feel like I'm more and more thankful because I can see that the end coming faster and faster.
Well, you're one of the more academic and intelligent players in the league, and I get to meet them, et cetera. The most important thing and the most difficult thing is to choose the right people to be around. How do you choose? Everyone's hitting you up, right? We both know that. Everyone does it to me, and I have a difficult time, but I couldn't imagine being a player. How do you choose, who to have as those trusted advisors? What personality traits, or what do you look for?
I mean, the very first obvious thing I look for is loyalty. And loyalty to me is like everyone from a friend standpoint, or most people are considered loyal, but I'm looking for like loyal in terms of like cares more about my career than their career. Because otherwise, at some point, you're going to come to, a juncture where, you're gonna have to choose one. And I'm not saying that everyone who works for me doesn't worry about their own career. I actually probably worry about their career more than they worry about their career, how they can build their brand and how they can do other things as well. But I definitely look for loyalty. The second thing I really enjoy is having people around me who can challenge me. And like, I don't want to be the smartest one in every category. Like, I should be the best at basketball, and that's it.
Right.
Everything else, I should be.
You're the smartest one in the room. You're in the wrong room.
Exactly. And I think like that's really important for me, is getting people around me who have different perspectives, who think about the world differently. I'm okay with conflict. I'm okay with challenge, and I think that's like what life is about. Like tough conversations. You have tough conversations. You work it out, and like through that pain, it's kind of like weightlifting or anything else. You get better, and so. I really enjoy that aspect of it as well, thinking through things and stuff.
Getting challenged. Now, you do a lot with philanthropy, as a philanthropist and as someone that's faith-based. You give back a lot. Tell me a little bit about what you have going on the charitable side.
Yeah, my foundation, we try to really target underdog causes, because that's kind of my story. So, and I love working with kids. So any community that I've either been in the past or am somewhat tied to, just for life, we try to find organizations there that are working with children, underprivileged children, and we try to find underdog organizations and sometimes even underdog causes. And so in Houston, we did a lot of stuff with immigrants and refugees. In Taiwan, we were doing stuff with Aboriginals, which is the equivalent of Native Americans in the U.S., who might not get great treatment. In China, there's been stuff that we've done with migrant children. Right next to Palo Alto is East Palo Alto, which not that many people know about or go to, but some of my teammates grew up there, and it was a really rough neighborhood growing up. I think it had the highest crime per capita of any city in the U.S. at one point when I was growing up, right in the neighboring city. So I always try to go back there, basically trying to find places or things that need a little bit more awareness or exposure, and giving them a boost.
Coming from that underdog environment and energy, what give me an underdog that you looked up to? There had to be, I was that way. I'm not nearly the athlete nor what I claim to, but I've seen myself as an underdog through my career. But I always had kind of my underdog hero. In your life, what movie character? Give me an idea of who that was that inspired you and said, you know what, I'm not going to quit.
Honestly, I don't think I had one.
Okay.
Growing up, like the people I looked up to, it was basically just like Michael Jordan.
Like everyone else.
He was,
Me too.
And I know
But he was
like
an
he had somewhat of an underdog story.
Yeah.
Like he didn't make it the varsity team his sophomore year. I don't know if that's like that much of an
Compared to you, right?
underdog story. I just never worried about the underdog aspect of it. Like I just kind of put blinders on to everything around me. And as I got older and older, and once I made it to the pros, that's when I really started to, the only one I can really think of is Naruto, which is like a Japanese anime.
Yeah.
But that was more like when I got into the league that I would start watching it, and I really fell in love with that character. But growing up, I don't really think there are too many underdog stories. Like I just felt like I could do whatever the non-underdog was
Want to be
doing.
like Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Last question to leave with. You're still young. You got your basketball career ahead of you, and then a huge career. I think an entrepreneurial career, a philanthropic career. What legacy do you want to leave when it's all over?
I mean, the first thing I want people to say, well, it just depends. Like with the people around me, I want my legacy to be something with the people around me, and then the legacy I would leave with the world is something different.
Smart.
But I mean, I feel like my legacy with the world would be, I would want them to know that I lived for God. Mm-hmm. Like I was faithful in my life, and I wasn't perfect, but I always did my best, and I tried to fix and right my wrongs and just do things the right way. And the second thing I would love people to see is that I had a lot of fun, and I really tried to create change, legitimate change in people's lives, and that could be my teammates, that could be fans that met me, that could be fans who never met me, or just people who love my story. Being a source of inspiration or motivation to them would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you're your own anime to a whole bunch of young people, billions in China, and especially here in the United States. Well, I really appreciate the time, Jeremy, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of yours, and I appreciate what you stand for. And we're here to help and be of service however we can. But I love the way Jeremy Lin empowers others to empower others to be inspired and to live their dreams, regardless of what challenges happen. This is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing, with Entrepreneur, the Playbook. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.